Welcome back to another episode of Cape Ann Today. In 1973, the U.S. Congress designated August 26th as Women's Equality Day. The date was selected to commemorate the certification of the 19th Amendment, granting women the right to vote. I'm speaking with Amy Shapiro, who will host a local celebration of Women's Equality Day on August 26th at the Lanesville Community Center. Hi, Amy.
Good morning, Heather. Thank you so much for inviting me to join you.
Oh, thanks for being here. So let me just ask you right at the start, what is your personal perspective on women's rights in 2023, and why do you feel this event is important?
Oh my gosh. Well, women have suffered a lot in recent years with setbacks to their rights. And my initial drive to make this event happen was that I am the inheritor of my mother, Dorothy Amder's feminist papers and archival documents and pins and artwork from the 1970s. She passed in 2012, and it's taken me 11 years to start to do something with those papers, to preserve them and pass them along, find a proper home for the art. And as I've been delving into these papers and really educating myself about what women went through in the 1970s for the very hard fought gains that occurred, along the way, I discovered that there was such a thing as Women's Equality Day. And I was shocked that I wasn't aware of it before, that we've had it since 1973. I couldn't find any evidence of it being celebrated in the area. And because this work of art she has, which happens to be called Now is the Time, it was an ode to the work of the National Organization for Women and the gains made in the 1970s. Because I am looking to find a permanent, appropriate home for it, I wanted to give the people in the community an opportunity to see it. It's quite remarkable before it does eventually find its next home. And I thought, what better day than Women's Equality Day to share this very special work of art and bring women together to hear some stories and hear from some of the very esteemed leaders in our community and beyond who have a beautiful, really worthwhile perspective about what's happening on behalf of women in our area and beyond with women's rights. So, I mean, even recently, I tuned in to the city council meeting where Council President Val Gilman presented a proclamation to our local city council. And I was quite fascinated to hear the comments that were made about it, because Val will be presenting that proclamation before we open, as the opening to our panel the night of the 26th. And there was a pretty broad support for it, men and women. And one of the male council members even did bring up the fact that now that women have their right to bodily autonomy threatened with so many legislative actions taken against abortion rights, women really don't have the rights that they had before. So a lot of us are feeling that concern. Whether we're of childbearing age or not. And so this year felt like a really important year to lift women up, celebrate women's rights, and kind of take a hard look at where are we, where do we need to go?
Mm. So you will be hosting the event, and there
Yeah.
will be a 5-person panel. Introduce us very briefly to the panel.
Right. I'm so thrilled with everyone's acceptance of the invitation, and they were all thrilled to accept. 4 of our panelists are local women who hold positions of leadership in the community, so we all can be very proud of them. The first to accept was none other than V. Ciparini, who is the very first woman to be in the position of Director of Veterans Services. And she's just a wonderful gal. We've had some great conversations, and she cares a lot about, the work that she's doing, but also creating a little more opportunity for women veterans to feel seen through her. And so she'll be one of our panelists. And then we have Sunny Robinson, a familiar name to so many of us, who's done tremendous work on behalf of human rights. And she's also very excited to be joining us. Uh, at Sunny's recommendation, I reached out to someone I didn't know yet, and I'm thrilled to know Mayusa Alves, who's on the Human Rights Commission.
I love
And
that.
she represents women in the community who might have some diversity and also might need some support in their immigration status, as well as help legally for other reasons. We also have locally Elise Sinagra. Many of you know her as the Director of Elder Services of the Council on Aging in Gloucester. And so she has a great perspective having to do with, how are we doing taking care of our seniors and not, women, yes, of course, men too.
Mm.
And by the way, men are very welcome to come. This is not an exclusively women's event by any means. And we thank all the men who have been great feminists in supporting women's rights. And then our one very special out-of-town guest panelist is Stacy Haller. And she is internationally known as a researcher and career advisor. And she's been on CBS News and widely quoted. She's been a speaker at the UN. And so it's a great privilege to have her come and share her perspective of women in the workplace and how far have we come and what are the challenges women are facing today in their career pursuits.
Mm. Well, I love the local weight of this event. That I totally appreciate you're having Stacy Holler, but these are serious local women that you have on this panel. Is the localness something that you are really trying to get at? Do you feel as if people's, when people hear their neighbors speaking, local voices, it means more? What are you after there?
You summed it up perfectly. It really does mean more when we can hear from women that we might know or might have heard of or might have wanted to get to know. And these are women that are local. We can feel very proud of them. These are women who I'm sure have all been through their own personal struggles to achieve a position of leadership and recognition and respect in the community. And so, having them just on our panel is itself relevant to Women's Equality Day, which is to celebrate the progress women have made. We're not sure 50 years ago any of these women would have been in the positions they hold today. And so just that alone is a wonderful cause to celebrate.
Mhm. So, can you give us just a little tease of some of the questions that will be asked and what people can expect?
All right, I love your question, first of all. We recently had a panel brainstorm meeting of all of us, and we came to a consensus, which is a lot of how women like to work, many of us,
Mhm.
that rather than just responding to questions that I would toss out, each woman really wanted to have an opportunity to share their personal story, share some personal observations that they've had about, where are women now? How far have we come? And then also share about some resources that they are aware of in the community or that they're part of providing in the community. So, we're not looking to have rapid fire Q&A. We really want to just give each of these women a platform to let the community get to know them better and share their well-seasoned observation. So they'll each have some time. We've scheduled the order. We're all organized. And we are certainly hoping that there will be time for a Q&A for the audience because, we really want people to get great value out of the program. From 6:30 to 7, it'll be gathering, and then there'll be a display of this special work of art, my mother's 200 plus collection of feminist pins from the 1970s, and some information displayed about the Equal Rights Amendment and other things that will be of interest and relevant. And then at 7 o'clock, Val Gilman will share the proclamation from the City Council and introduce me, and then I'll moderate the panel. And we'll have a Q&A at the end where hopefully the audience will have some questions for one or more of our panelists. So that's the program.
It sounds really rich, and I will definitely attend. So before
Yeah.
we go, is there anything else you want people to know about the event?
Come. It is free. It starts at 6:30. And it is in the evening because it is an adult, as you said, serious event. We are talking about subjects that, weigh heavily on a lot of our hearts and minds, as well as celebrating the gains we've had. So that's why it's an evening event. Yeah, we're looking forward to having a great turnout and celebrating these local women and sharing some very special memorabilia from the 1970s that may be the only opportunity local folks will have to see it before they find a permanent place to be.
Mhm. Well, I have to take this moment to put in a plug for my cousin, who is vice president of Now. And
Oh my gosh.
yeah, her name's Bear Atwood, and she happens to have an amazing collection of feminist pins and paraphernalia from her mother. So,
Beautiful. Oh
and
my gosh, I wish she could come, but I'm 100% sure she will be celebrating Women's Equality Day in other ways at another place. And I actually do have a message of greetings from Kimberly Adams, who she would know. She's also on the board of Now. And she is aware of our event. And so I think it's fun for locals to know that although this is a relatively local event, we already have gotten some national attention for it.
nice. And my cousin will know all about it too. I'll let her know.
Beautiful. Thank you again, Heather.
Thank you. So again, 6:30 to 8 on August 26th at the Lanesville Community Center.
Perfect.
Great. All right. I'll see you there.
Beautiful.
Interested in a sponsorship? Email sponsor@1623studios.org to learn more.